with your permission, I'll just request Oga Kazim to do the opening prayer since he was, I think, the first person to join this. So, Mr. Kazim, if you can hear me, can you please do us the honor to open this program with a prayer? Hello, Mr. Kazim. Did you hear me?
I can hear you. I just surprised why you picked me now.
Okay.
Okay, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening. We come to seek for knowledge as we gather here together. Every one of us, we pray that we'll be able to learn one, two, or more things that will enrich us in our journey of life. We pray that you give us wisdom from above, that everything we shall learn or we shall hear today, we'll be able to put it to practice and it will enrich us by your grace. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Kazim. So I now hand over the program to the facilitator, Mr. Ayi, George Ayi. Please, you can take over.
Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to this. And I want to thank the Executive Council, Mogaji, Vice President, for putting this together, because I think a topic like this is as important as ever at these times and what we are facing now, and it's internationally. So I just want to thank you all, and for the sake of this, if you can mute your microphone to be great, because there will be vital information that will be shared. And also, if you want to take notes and if you have questions, you want to drop it, that's fine as well, because the goal is for us to learn here and have some major takeaway that will, positively influence our lives as we move on. To start this, I would like to have Mr. Okulaja to give a brief introduction of himself. We in C88, we know him, but looking at the list of people here, this list kind of cut across various sets. So please, Adeolu, please introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Howard, should I introduce myself or did you get that thing?
I did. I'm so glad that our facilitator has asked you to introduce yourself, because it will come nicely from you. I know I saw your bio, it's long. I know you wouldn't want us to read everything. I know you're very humble, but so we're just passing it back to you so that you can say the things that are, pick on the important things for us to know. We're very excited to have a lot of people from outside of C88 here. I can see a lot of the other groups. I just wanted to add that if you're from the millennial set, if you can please in the chat, because this is also important, there is an offer of data. Make sure that you include your name and your class, so your year. For example, Ifeanyi Kalu, set class of 88 or whatever it is. And yeah, so thank you again, and go ahead.
Okay, I think I'll just do that quickly. Okay, so let me just put this in context. I think I have something here. So for those that don't know me, my name is Adeolu Okulaja. As it has been said, I'm also past student of Command Secondary School, Ipaja, Lagos. I want to say that it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to connect with my former colleagues, friends, and I'm happy that we're doing something like this. I'd like to say that, for those that knew me then, it had always been an association with technical drawing, so eventually I decided I was just even in that bucket. I studied architecture at the University of Lagos. and graduated with Bachelor of Environmental Sciences and a Master's in Architecture. I currently serve as the Director of Operations and Business Development at Base Concepts and Designs, a position that I've held since December 2010, when I resigned from my position as the Corporate Real Estate Services Manager at Standard Chartered Bank, a position that I held from 2006 to 2010. In that role, my focus was on providing functional leadership for property portfolio and the facilities management of the entire bank. That's the geography of Nigeria. At the moment, I'm involved in quite a lot of endeavors, which span real estate, architecture, digital skills, philanthropy, also some work with the UN. I'm also a member of what is called LEAD, which is called Leadership for Environment and Development. It's an international organization that was founded by the Rockefeller Foundation in the United States. And we have our headquarters in London, UK. I completed a leadership training program on the principles and practice of sustainable development and environmental management in 2020, I think it's 2003. And that, to a large extent, has sort of shaped my future and sort of dragged me away from architecture. And I'm very involved with the principles and advocacy for sustainable development. A lot of you might have heard about climate change. This is the focus of what that is about. But I'm also involved in a lot of activities that are geared towards reducing the effects of that climate change. How can I say? I'm also have served with, maybe freelancing with the Lagos State government on public sanitation, and I've coordinated several events with the UN. The one of particular note was the International Year of Glass 20 in Lagos, Nigeria, where we expanded and explored the virtues of glass as a sustainable material, and as a way of moving the conversation forward on ways of implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. So I think that is enough for now, and I hand over to the moderator. Thank you.
Mr. Okuloja, thank you so much. You from your intro, you have a wealth of knowledge in this topic. And before you mentioned TD, my past recollection of you was walking around school with what you call it, T-Square back then. So, and we haven't talked since we left command. So I was so glad when I found out that you will be leading this. And you mentioned your career kind of cut across different fields. So what is that one thing, if you want to tell us, what is that one thing that has made you take the career path you have taken? Because there are some people that might feel, where do I go? How do I get started? What is that one thing that kind of moved you into trying to focus on what you're about to talk about today?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think I've learned a great deal. I mean, we've all learned a great deal. Education is very wide, but I've always now tried to hold one principle, which is beginning with the end in mind. A lot of us, when we start our journey in life, we have that path which is thrust in front of us and say, oh, follow this path. in my case, I just happen to have that knack for
Like 20 small, 28 people.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you please mute your line, please? Everybody else, please. Thank you. Sorry, sir. Keep going.
Okay. So I was drawn to architecture because I was always told by people that, oh, I am very good in technical drawing. But I was also good in a couple of other things. Technical drawing, the line too. But
Adil, please hold on. Please
That's
hold
what
on.
it is.
Okay, guys, can you please mute your line? Or is there any way the facilitator can mute lines until we...
Yes, Taiwo, can you, okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So like I was saying, I've learned over the years that education is just a pathway. It's like a format. And it depends on what your interests are and how you your life to evolve. If I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't choose architecture. And I will tell you one secret. When I finished secondary school, my initial idea was actually to that was what was on my mind. I wanted to be I wanted to do something in space, build structures and do all sorts of that was, out of this world, having the opportunity to do something and somebody will say, oh, you can do it, oh, there's no. So I think that is what I would put to a lot of people now. Don't limit yourself by the profession that you started off with. And like I said before, begin with the end in mind, where if you have a training in a formal path, do not limit yourself to that training. Read wide, educate yourself, and understand that you are built for more than just one particular discipline. Architecture gave me that opportunity to explore other disciplines. I mean, in my first year in architecture, I studied sociology. I studied French again in university, and that just opened my mind to a lot of things. And I believe architecture was the only course I could have studied in university because it was the only one that was versatile enough to all my interests. If I didn't study architecture, I probably wouldn't even finish university in Nigeria. I would have done something else. But I thank God, God had a plan, and here we are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know you have something in mind you want to share with us today as far as, generational wealth and a whole bunch of stuff. So I think at this point, I would say want to pivot to you starting off from what you have in mind. I mean, I can always ask questions as we move along, but I would say maybe you have a presentation. I don't know, but I think at this point we've done the introduction and it's time for you to take the keys and drive this car.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Like I said, it's a pleasure to be here. And what we're talking about now is the topic that we've chosen is how to build generational wealth. I'm sure all of you know this is very far from architecture, but I think I am well suited also to deliver it because I've sort of educated myself on it. And I want it to be as much as an interactive session as possible because you learn from each other. There's nobody that has all the wealth of knowledge. And I'm just going to be reinforcing what I think are the basics, for this topic. And hopefully by the time we finish today, we would have had an awareness of what this topic demands and how we can move it forward in our individual lives. So without much ado, I think we should go on to the next chapter, the next slide, sorry. There's no image. There's no image.
So while we're working at technical difficulty or technical challenges, I want to ask you a question. And what would you define as wealth? While Mr. Lewis is working on that, what would you define as wealth? Because growing up, people say, I want to be rich. And evidently, there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. As an expert on this topic, how would you differentiate both?
Yes, well, yeah, to start with that, I would say, you know what? Wealth is not about money, it's about creating a system where you are able to create or establish financial stability and security that extends beyond yourself, that can extend to your children and even their own children. It's what we're going to do today is basically about sharing the key principles. I'll give an example, which is very, very, it's a fiction, but imagine a family of, let's say, C88 were a family, and we were the ones that founded Walmart, right? We would have built today one of the largest generational wealth systems globally, and it all began from a small retail store. Imagine C88 owned Walmart, which is a brand name that also operates in the US and also under different names all over the world. So imagine that the magnitude of that multi-generational economic engine that will continue to create value for decades and decades and decades to come. If we were able to do that, we are able to secure the economic future of ourselves and our children and their children's children. So really, it's not about money. The money is a vehicle, right? The wealth is building, So that's what I would say.
Okay. That's go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is the slide available now so that we can?
That's what I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to say. Mr. Foibu, is it ready?
Yes, it's ready. Please check if you can see my screen, sir.
I think we can see your screen. It's just on the first slide. So we can move on to the next slide. Okay. So today we're going to talk about, or let me go back. So to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Today I'll be talking about a topic which is both practical and transformative, which is building generational wealth. It's not just about making money. It's about creating a system of financial stability, opportunity, and security that extends beyond us to our children and even their own children. What I will share today are the key principles that shift how we think about money, ownership, and legacy. Generational wealth is about building something that outlives the founder. So let's go to the next slide. I have introduced myself, former student of Command Secondary School. I would describe myself as an architect, but I also have a lot of interests, and this is one of them. Unfortunately, I think my parents failed me in the in this aspect that we're talking about, because I always thought about wealth as being money, really, investments, but that is just one part of it. The other part will actually be the communication of what this actually means, and that is what we are here to do. Can we go to the next slide? So the question is, how do you actually build generational wealth, right? At the heart of the matter is a simple truth. Generational wealth does not happen by accident. It is built intentionally. Next slide. So I want to ask all of us. I sent out a video prior to this meeting about generational wealth. It's a YouTube video. I don't think it's important, or it's not relevant to repeat information that is already there. But what was also important to me was that the right information on how to do this was not freely available online, So, I mean, I want us to look at this, give us a feedback if you can on, what did you learn from it? Why would you want to say, okay, I want to learn about this topic? What more do you hope to learn from this seminar? And what are your goals around building generational wealth? Have you put any plans in place around building generational wealth? I say this, like I said, one of my principles is to begin with the end in mind. And that is one of the principles of highly effective people. I'm sure some of us must have read that book, but I'll open the floor to just, ask people if they want, they can put some in the chat so that we can read it as they go. Just leave about 2 minutes for that to happen.
I know I personally found it very interesting because I looked at it because there were some things there that it gives you insight as to how, we hear a lot of people from famous people, how they've been wealthy all their life or they've had money all their life, and to see it being put in front of you in form of a visual aid as to how they went about doing it, it was quite helpful. That's to me personally. So if anyone wants to put something in the chat as to what they found useful, this is the time for you to do it.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh, did you all watch it? Did anyone watch it?
Did anybody watch it? No. Generational wealth is intentional. So if we didn't watch it, I think maybe we should go back and watch it again. But I will tell you, yeah, go ahead.
So what I could possibly do is the video was split up into different sections. For the sake of time, I don't think we could probably watch it all here, but I could just maybe highlight some of the sections that, where if it's okay with you, some of the things that were
In actual fact, you know what? I anticipated that a lot of us wouldn't watch it. And
okay.
I designed that into this this seminar because there's always an expectation. And like I said, I had an inkling that people would, but I decided that, okay, and I'm ready to answer the questions, about, the summary of it. So if you go to the next slide, please, we will start to understand how to go. So I actually did summarize it because I thought a lot about this, and I did the summary for you, for those people who didn't do it. So here we're going to go through the key principles for the long-term financial legacy and asset creation. Next slide, please. So the core message in that video is that wealth is intentional, is built intentionally. If we look at all the people in the world that we will call wealthy, we would know that they did a lot of work. They did not start wealthy. It was principled and it was deliberate. I put this image in this presentation because it's a stereotype in the sense that if we think about maybe the richest men in the world or the richest women in the world, they're probably white, they're probably old, they're probably, seem well off. But I want to tell you that this is just a stereotype. It is not reality, So let's go to the next slide. So what we see here in this slide is I put in the bullet points. You can read it for yourself. Generational wealth is created intentionally. It requires discipline, financial decisions, asset ownership, and long-term thinking. The goal is to create financial stability that benefits your future generation. So to expand on this, I will just say at the heart of this conversation is a simple truth that, wealth does not just happen by accident. We need to work on it. We need to be disciplined. We need to focus on acquiring assets, and we need to have a long-term perspective. When we finish university, we get a job. We're actually either told to get a job or we're told to, create a business. The end game is not to buy a car, is not to make yourself feel comfortable. If you are really keen on having your wealth and multiplying it and also transferring it, you must have that clear perspective from the beginning. Unfortunately, most people work for income, but wealth building is focused on creating systems where money continues to work for us, even when they are not, even when we are not working. A very, very simple thing is what we all know, the stock market. But even if you want to invest in the stock market, you must understand the stock market. So it calls for education in financial systems. The goal is not just to have the financial comfort, for today, but you need to have a framework that you can suitably have, a financial continuity for the future. If we did a spreadsheet and we looked at a typical Nigerian, let's say you finish school, aggregate all the expenses and the money spent, you will find out that a lot of it is either spent on, traveling, weddings, parties, the likes. But what is important is that how much of the percentage of the income that we get in terms of money do we trade for long-term security? There is a farce, there is an illusion that we are told, which is a pension. The pension is not guaranteed, and it's not a wealth builder. So we need to have our own goal for how we can create and justify our financial comfort. If it is too late for us, we must learn to create it for our children's children. Because the person that starts on this wealth journey might not be the person that would finish it. The key there is that the people that come after you have a better start point than what you had. And that is at the core of what intergenerational wealth is. We talk about Warren Buffett, who is a very classic example. Warren Buffett is a very classic case of intentional wealth building. Rather than relying on earned income. He focused on acquiring and holding assets through his company, which is known as Berkshire Hathaway. And he has done this very, very meticulously. And I think it is rumored till today that he still lives in the same house that he was born in. That is unheard of, even in America. But for us as Africans and as Nigerians, we should understand that the economics of the global economics does not favor us. We are, in some way, have been disadvantaged from the beginning. So we have a lower starting point than people in the West or in any other ethnic group. So we must understand that, and we must know that wealth is built through deliberate strategy and not chance. Next slide, please. Now, this is a very classic example. I just put this up because I believe graphics say a lot. So we must move from what we call consumption to ownership, or we must compare. Now we see somebody here who just goes to the grocery store. He's a big spender. Are we going to be big spenders, or are we going to be smart investors? That is one thing that we need to change in the concept of what we're talking about. Next slide, please. Do you have any questions as we go along? We can also put up our hands. We can raise your hand in the Zoom call. It's very easy, or we can put the message in the chat group. So
I don't see any questions right now. The only thing they've done is kind of made comments about the video. Someone said the arbitrage was very interesting, and another person said this the use of trust to transfer wealth. So there were some people that looked at it, and even after now we can post it so people can go back and look at it. I know personally it was very insightful for me, and I think it's something that we cannot benefit from. But like Mr. Kulaja has said, if you have any questions at any point, please drop it in the chat, and then I will raise it to him. Please go on.
Thank you so much. So I think the main thing that we need to do is to have a paradigm shift. We need to shift our mind from consumption to ownership, and it is intentional ownership this time. I put these bullet points up because I think these are the main things that address what we're saying. So we have here, wealth builders prioritize acquiring assets. And this is sustainable assets, not just assets that would depreciate over time, right? We also look at income alone does not create wealth. So if you have a fantastic salary today and you think you have created wealth, I'm sorry, that is not it. You need to create a system where you have investments or instruments that continue to work for you even while you are sleeping. It is assets that generate income and grows the value over time. And if we look at it, mine says
Who's not muted?
Yeah. So many people increase their spending as their income. We like to have better cars, bigger homes. We upgrade ourselves. We say we are moving up. But wealth is not built through consumption. Unfortunately, the present economic cycles reinforces consumption. Oh, buy this, buy that, credit cards to do this. They will tell, oh, you just qualify to do this. But if you really look at it, you need to build your wealth through ownership. I would rather say instead of going to supermarket and buying a lot of high ticket, items, I would say, why don't you take out your Saturdays to think, okay, how can I buy shares in that store that people go to? In buying that, you will be more comfortable. I will be more comfortable knowing that I have shares in this same thing that I'm buying from. The likes of the Gucci's, the Balenciaga. Guess what? All those names are not Nigerian. Have you ever seen any Nigerian name like that? And the unfortunate thing is that it's very real. They tell us to our face that this belongs to me. It doesn't belong to you. So if you come to me and buy a bag that has my brand name, you are increasing my wealth. And that is just what it is. It's a simple equation. You are physically transferring your income, paying for a service or an item, and you are basically transferring your hours of work, your hours of life to somebody else. And that continues over time, and it builds into a really vicious cycle. So wealth is created through ownership, owning assets that grow in value and generate income. So the question becomes, are we saving money or are we positioning money to grow? Which one do we want to do? I'll give an example. Many professional athletes, earn millions, but they lose wealth due to high consumption. In contrast, an athlete like LeBron James invested in businesses, including ownership stakes and in companies like, Blaze and shoes and other things. Another person is somebody like Michael Jordan, who invested in shoes, clothing, and even more recently in NASCAR, which is very, very different from what he got, initially, which he got in terms of money. So he took that money and he positioned it in an asset that continues to make him wealthy. And his wealth now is calculated in millions and billions, So let's go to the next slide. Next slide, please. So now we've talked a lot about assets. Let's just give an example of wealth building assets. And here we can have, in the picture, we have all sorts of things. We have things that are generally associated with us in Africa, which is music. I will give an example of Fela, who is world-renowned for his Afrobeats. The first thing he did when he started off was actually to create his asset. He created an IP, right? The IP was Afrobeats. But unfortunately, through his lifetime, he never effectively transferred this IP into wealth building assets. We're talking about investments. How many investments did he have? How many intellectual property rights did he have on his music? And how many of that did he transfer into things like real estate? He's a very famous musician, but unfortunately, people are making money off him and off his talent, even when he's dead, right? We believe that this would not be our own story. We will feed off our own intellectual property, and our children's children will enjoy it. So let's even look at it this way. What are these assets actually? You may say, these assets, I would say, would include, business, real estate, stocks, investment funds, and even your own personal intellectual property, all of us have a brand name that is given to us at birth, that our parents gave us. Our name is one of our intellectual assets. And that is why you see when people produce things, they put their names to it, which is personal to them. So nobody can actually copy it. And then we say, okay, what makes this powerful is that they generate income consistently. Let's say we have a business, that is a clothing business. It's if we are able to do this at scale, we'll be able to produce profits upon profits, that people will come, look at what we have created based on our IP, our intellectual property, and they will continue to buy and buy and buy because we have created value in that. And in doing that, we can now have a brand. From a brand, you can have a store. From a store, you can have a factory. And it goes on and on. And you can actually sell that asset and even have it in such a way that is structured that you will continue to gain from that asset, even when you are not actively involved in it. So there is a lot of things that we can do. The easiest one in Nigeria and even in the West is real estate. Real estate can generate rental income, which is very basic. We know that. But that also involves you learning about the environment and that particular business. We have investments that can go through dividends and appreciation. But the key idea to it is that assets put money into your pocket, whether you are working for it or not. That is the key. We'll also look at somebody on the flip side of Fela, which is a contemporary in our own time, which is Jay-Z. Jay-Z built wealth through diversified assets. He has a music catalog which holds his intellectual property. He has investments in companies like Uber, and he has ownership in Rock Nation. The question is, how can multiple asset classes, create resilient and scalable wealth systems for us? That is the question we should ask ourselves. What do we have that we can use our money to create tangible wealth building assets? Next slide, please. Now, we have covered this. I just decided to put this in bullet points. The key is that these assets will produce income even when you are not actively working. Next slide. Now, we've come to one of the key tools for wealth and asset management, which is financial education. I'm sure we've all heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure we've all heard of it. I just want somebody to respond. Have you heard of it?
Ready?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I would advise you, if you don't like reading, try the audio version. The audio version is also very, very accessible to us. But the thing about this is that you don't really need to read this book. In fact, this book also represents an asset-making media. Somebody just sat down, he condensed all the information he thought was good, and he started selling it. The author of this book is making money as we speak. Every day you hear, cha-ching, somebody is buying the book. He has diversified this knowledge into so many mediums that you will be a fool not to even recognize that this thing is available and it is worth something. The IP on this book alone can, can set up anybody for life. So let's go to the next slide.
Mr. Kulaja, before we go on, I know there are times people might have a question. So if we can pause right now. Thank you so much. You have dumped on us a lot of things and I hope people are taking notes. So at this point in time, do we have any questions about what he has covered so far? Any questions? No question is a stupid question. No question is a silly question. We are all here to learn. So anyone, any question at all as to what he's covered? He's covered assets that makes money. He's covered what is wealth. He's covered how to prolong your wealth. So I'm assuming silence means he's been he's explained it in a manner that we all understand. But if not, this is the time for you to ask a question. Any area at all that may be a little confusing for you.
Yes, please ask questions. Ask questions. See, this is a forum where we know each other. So let's not be shy. I didn't know this 10 years ago. If I knew this 10 years ago, I would not be sitting here looking at you. I would just send my assistant to say, those people are disturbing me. Just go and share this. Or I would have written a book. I'll be making lots of money, But this is important. And it is important because we need to move as a group. You know that popular saying, birds of the same feather flock together. I want to have plenty of you guys become millionaires, billionaires in dollars, not in naira. So please, you can raise your hand, interrupt at any point when you feel you have a question and you want clarification. And okay, so we'll move on. Yeah, so very quickly, we're now at the importance of financial education. This is the heart of what this the seminar is all about. There's nothing you can learn today about improving your financial education that will be detrimental to getting you closer to achieving intergenerational wealth. Unfortunately, this hard work has to be done by somebody. Unless we're born with a silver spoon in our mouth, we are at a point where we have to, or we owe it to our children and our children's children to put them on a better pedestal than what we started with. And really, these are the key points which I've highlighted here. We need to understand how money works. This is very essential. The key knowledge areas will include investing, managing debt wisely, protecting and growing your assets. Financial literacy helps break the cycle of financial instability, otherwise known as poverty. There's a lot of talk and programs about breaking the poverty cycle in Africa. And enough said about, Africa has a lot of mineral wealth and everything. If you do not know how to transfer what you have naturally into money and also into wealth, you don't have money. There's no language that can be said. It cannot be said in Slovenia, in an Australian language, in any language, even in machine learning. If you cannot transfer it, you don't have it. So let's get that very, very straight. We must learn how to make this transfer. Financial education does not end. It is always increasing. Even I would tell you that there are a lot of things I don't know about blockchain, but we're living in a time where on your phone, no matter how it is, you can download ChatGPT or any of these AI chatbots. They will tell you line by line how to do it. But the important thing is that you as an individual need to follow the steps and do it with advice. There is nothing wrong in getting financial advice and getting ahead. That is the key to creating. And also, it's the focus of what we're talking about now. So there's no one that this is impossible for. We must understand that we must understand how money works, not just how to earn it, but how to grow it, manage it, and protect it. This includes understanding investments, debt management, and risk. I cannot overemphasize that. Without financial literacy, many people remain stuck in that cycle of earning, spending, and starting all over again. But with this knowledge, we will have control, and with control comes the ability to build lasting wealth. I'll give you another example, which is from the image that we had previously about the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The global impact of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Mr. Kiyosaki, I think his name is Robert, has helped a lot of people understand the difference, between assets and liabilities. But it shouldn't stop there. This is just a functional narrative that shows that the concept of financial education works and it is important. Financial literacy transforms how we as individuals can earn, manage, and grow our money. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So we're looking at now long-term discipline. Long-term discipline. This graphic is, I wish I had seen this before in my dream. If I was in command at that time, I would have told my daddy, there's this company in the US. Go and invest in it. It's called. Let me stop and answer Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi Kalu, you have a question? You can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Adeolu. Thank you for the thoughts I've been following. I just have one concern in my heart, as you've been talking. Yes, I hear you clearly on moving from consumption to ownership and all of those things that you've been sharing. The concern is, I'm just picturing, you want to build a house. You want to build a house. You need sand, you need cement, you need wood, you need water, and and other things like that. The question for me particularly, yes, I know we'll need to move from riches to building the wealth. Yes, I understand that concept, and I'm getting to know it more in the course of this training or workshop or seminar, whatever it could be called. But my question is, how do I have access to the materials that I need? Because for some of us, like in Nigeria, like you've rightly said it, nobody can do anything with salary. Even when you try to hustle, except you have connections, or what Tony Elumelu also acknowledged to be favor. Luck. Because he acknowledged that you need diligence, he said he calls it luck. He told me I call it favor anyway. To really break even and make it and all of that. Sometimes you hustle, you do all of these things to get the raw material, and you don't really get them. So for me, I think the challenge is more to getting the raw materials, yes, than squandering it, like consuming instead of investing and then building it into wealth. I think that the challenge, especially for us in Nigeria, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, is how do I assess these raw materials? Because if you are not in the big places, you're not in the nice places. For example, you're not with the politicians, you are not where the money is moving. you may not have access to that moving money to gather and to start investing. How do I get the connections? How do I get those raw materials? I don't know if my question is well understood. Thank you, sir.
Let me see if I can rephrase that question. Maybe, I don't know if that, tell me if I'm right. So I'm thinking that you're saying for the person that is wanting to do all this right now, you have all this information. And for someone that is trying to get started, what are some of those things that they can do to get started? Is that your question? Like, how can we, when you say you're looking for the raw materials, like how, and I'm thinking you are using you're trying to use, what are those things I can do right now without access to a lot of money or this connection, as someone who is trying to start, as someone who doesn't have connection, who is just working? How do we start? Is that your question?
Yes, that's also in line. That's also in line. Correct, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Mr.
Is there any other question?
No.
Do you have any other questions so that we can take all our ones?
Nothing at this moment, but that's the one that I had already written it down before he even asked, like, for the person that's wanting to start this, how do you start?
Okay. Yes, I think that's a very good question. And I think it's very, very it's a very good point to start with. I'll tell you this. I will start from this point, is that I don't know how it is, but I'm from a Christian faith, I would just stand by that. In the Bible, there is a particular parable that is said about the talents, the parable of the talents. And I think I'm not going to repeat it, but I'll just give it as an example. There's a story about different people that were given different talents. And I believe the talents were, either money, some invested it, somebody buried it, somebody, a lot of people did a lot of things with it. And at the end of the day, they were castigated or advised on what they did. So to put it bluntly, it begins with you, right? You have to, first of all, realize that you are, what your position is, where you are, and also to say, what talents do I have? And I say talent now, not talents. What talent do I have? And, I recognize one thing in the beginning of this talk, that you must begin with the end in mind. There must be a beginning and there must be an end. It's a race, or it's a marathon. So if you have a particular idea, and you must have an idea, because it's only your idea that can make money, right? Or it is your labor that you will have money, and then you would invest that money to create wealth, which is separate from, your daily needs, what you need to eat and all that. There is no point having an idea that is not achievable. People will call that dreaming, right? If we go back to one of the examples we gave initially, Walmart, the concept he had initially was that he saw that when people went to church, they probably skipped their breakfast. And they started by making sandwiches for people to buy. The man identified that people were usually very hungry after the service, but they didn't have enough time to make their food before they went to the service. So immediately after the service, he had his store or a table, and he started selling sandwiches. That's how he started. And it now began into other items. The core of that is not sandwich. The core is he found out what people needed in their everyday life when they go about their everyday activities. And it started on Sundays. Food. From food, it began and it expanded into the consumables, groceries, what they call here groceries in America and North America. So he found what people needed, right? And he started to work on that. And that is what now has translated into what we now know as Walmart. So if I bring it back to the context of Nigeria, and if I just go to what you started with in saying, oh, you want a house, or you want to build a house, getting the materials. As an architect, I know that houses cost a lot of money. It's not even the money to build the house that is important. You have the money, you need money to even organize the whole thing. And even let's say you even take that away, you want to do it yourself. You have to build a house that is worth something. Don't build a shanty. Don't build something that somebody will come and say, oh, it's not structurally sound. If you can't afford to build a house, don't build a house. Take that money and go and invest it in something that will make money, that will continue to increase incrementally and make money. Don't say, oh, by the grace of God, something will happen, I'll make money, or my daddy will give me money, or I'll borrow money from this, I'll borrow. Some things, sometimes it works that way, but that is not intentional. That does not create wealth. That is by chance. And life is not by chance. If you want to create wealth, it is not by chance. You have to find an idea, ruminate on that idea, think about it, and launch that idea into something. Build slowly. And in fact, this graphic actually shows you that it is long-term discipline that a stock of Apple from zero, people forget about the fact that these multi-million dollar companies, they started from nothing before they go up into something. So when you're starting, you must understand that you are starting from zero, and you must be disciplined in the work that you are doing. And that also dovetails into financial education. Separate your business money or your idea money from your normal eat and drink. Don't use your wealth money or your asset building money to buy a new car. At times, you don't need a new car. You must begin with the end in mind. And this is really, really, really very basic, right? I hope I've not wasted too much time in explaining it, but I think, and I've maybe addressed the question as well. So I think let's do that. I think Ernest has a question. We can take his question.
Okay, thank you, Adeola. I think it's not more of a question, but to collaborate what you first said. I listened to the guy who asked the question, and I must quickly say, I think it's a mindset thing. And the best thing that has happened to you also is the inquisitive mind with which you have attended this workshop. I must say, you were asking here, you gave example, people keep saying chance and things like that. And I think Adeolu bringing the proverb of the talents. If you recall, the last man who held back his own, and what was the message to that last man? Was that you have a wicked mind, master. You want to sow where you have not reaped. And thus, as a result of that mindset, he could not put his mind to application. He could not. He even where he saw opportunity, but he was blinded by his thoughts. And so for you, the most important thing towards creating wealth is the ability of that mindset. When you have that mindset to be able to believe that you can create wealth and you begin to strive towards it. No doubt, challenges, failures will come around the way, but as you set your mind towards what you want to achieve, you would naturally get it. It will naturally come to you. So first is that mindset. I want to create wealth regardless wherever you are in the world. And as he has also said, look out for opportunities. Because when you have that mindset, naturally, you would be able to see what others may not see because you have that hunger and quest, as against where your mind believes, oh, I'm in Nigeria, things does not happen. Maybe only those who stay abroad that these things happen to them. So it's that change of mindset and that change of orientation. That's just my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Mr. Akulaja, if you want, I can add a little thing here. You have addressed the issue of being entrepreneurial in spirit, like being able to look at what
That's
the
a
society. Can we pause this thing, please? Can we mute the? Thank you. Like I said, it's about the entrepreneur being able to find something society needs and addressing it. Now, you also had the aspect of people that may want to do it on a small scale. And I'm thinking, just to collaborate this, if you start putting money aside to invest in stock, if it's maybe $1,000, $1,000 a month or something, then at a particular point in time, you buy fractional shares. That's the way of starting. But whatever you do, don't be static. Do something. If you're entrepreneurial in nature, look for a business. If you're not, then like Ernest and both of you had said, do something that could help you start the process. If you can't start up a business, put money aside to probably invest in stock. Am I going the right way, sir?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let's have that in mind. But let's also listen to what Effiong has to say.
Greetings, everyone. I want to appreciate the insights you have all been sharing. I will take the toll of my friend Ifeanyi, because what he said will give, base to what I'm going to be talking about. I want to really step up the angle he came out from. For me, I am not just starting. I'm a farmer. Myself and my team have been able to come up with a cutting-edge solution for farmers, and over time, we've been having tractions. We've been having a handful of people wanting to take a bite of our business idea. But one funny thing is this: I don't want to use the Nigerian factor. People wanting to see you grow before they put in what you're doing. It's been very, very funny because when I listen to moderator talking, when you have 10,000 or you have this, you put into your business or you put it in stock, it's fine. It's beautiful. They're all beautiful ideas. How do you generate fund to get to what you even put into the stock is one very big factor we need to really, really break down, because very many of us are doing everything humanly possible to succeed. We are not lazy. I'll take myself, for instance. Maybe after this, I can pitch my business ideas for anybody that is ready to listen to it. And anybody that is coming on board is either wanting to take 50% of your business idea before they invest in your business. That is one aspect. The other person that is coming to listen to your pitch is like, oh, this is beautiful. Okay, let me see your traction. You show your traction. Step up your traction to this, then I can give you this. You see, we don't even have what it takes to take to this place. Help us to get to this point. We don't mind sharing, having a back and forth thing. Help us to get to this point. It's just been going rigmaroling. You pivot from this business idea just because you want to remain in business. Okay, let me take my business journey story for just 2 years now. We had a solution that was to go cut the cost of feed for farm animals, for fish, for chickens, and the likes of it. The idea is brilliant. Everybody that sees it, wow, this is beautiful. But why are you not investing in this? This is Nigeria. Okay, after that, this will I say that section, Tinubu came up with a policy that did not favor us, the farmers, because we were trying to remain in business. We had to digress from what we were actually doing into crop production so that we could raise funds and inject back into the business. We outsourced, called families and friends. We raised it close to 7 million, got into crop production, and now they crashed the market. We bought crops our input and everything. We got crops for 650 naira per kg as a then. As I speak to you now, the maize we bought for 650 naira is now 280 naira. How do we remain in business?
Well,
And we are entrepreneurs.
Okay.
What I'm hearing, Mr. Okola, please hang. What I'm hearing from you, the challenges that you're having with doing business in Nigeria, and we can sit down here, talk to you tomorrow till next year, because there are so many things that, affect it, instability, governmental policies, and everything. Now, what we could possibly do, we can talk to the escrow and come up with another PD as to how to navigate the business environment in Nigeria. For the sake of this right now, I would say let's remain with trying to do some, personal investing and trying to build wealth. But this is not to underscore this is not to say your question isn't valid. It's very valid. But for us to be able to fit whatever Mr. Deolu has within the time frame we have to stay focused on exactly building wealth and generational wealth, and then maybe subsequently come up with a PD that talks about navigating the challenging business environment in Nigeria. So, Mr. Okulaja, please, and like I said, very valid question. I get it. It's challenging, but it's to take us outside the realm of what we are planning for today.
Yes, I agree with you, but I think I will take up this challenge, George. Very, very quickly, Effion, I really, really understand what you're saying, but I'll also give you another perspective. This is just my perspective, because after a while, you would tend to think it's a Nigerian thing. People will tell you that, and let's not put that as a stereotype. It's not a Nigerian thing, right? I appreciate what you're saying. The first thing that you mentioned is that you have an idea. I'll ask you the question: have you registered that IP, that intellectual property? That is the first question, and I'll give you maybe 2 minutes to respond. First of all, have you registered that IP? And I mean proper registration. Stop telling people about your IP. That's another thing you do. You are just spreading your IP and giving it out to people freely. Number 3, how many cooperatives have you approached with that idea to scale? And before you approach them, you tell them, this one, I have protected it, I've registered it. So if anybody wants to copy it, I'm going to sue you, right? Yeah. Suing does not mean that you are going to just sue them. There are plenty of lawyers and people who can help you pro bono to help you put all these things in place. And like I said also, you have to find people that are in your own field who you can join together. Like I said, birds of the same feather will flock together. There are several institutes in Nigeria that work in your field. And guess what? If they're not going to help you in Nigeria, has all the countries in the world finished? Have you tried it in Ghana? Have you tried it in Togo? If you have an idea and that idea is beautiful, just like you said, if it works in Nigeria, it will work in Togo. If it works in Togo, it will work in the Netherlands. If it works in the Netherlands, it will work in Australia. So don't sleep on your idea. Stop sharing your idea. Your idea is what is going to build you your wealth. First of all, it will give you money and then will translate into your assets. And when you are building something, like I said, start with the end in mind. I don't think you might have even thought about it yourself. Sit down and say, okay, I'm not doing anything for now. Let me think about everything that I've been doing. What have I been doing wrong? Stop running your mouth. You are giving other people ideas. You know what they call them? Somebody told me, one pastor, and I digress. I personally call them fruit pickers. They pick your brain. They take what you have put what God has given you, and you're just dashing it out to people freely. And that may be why you have not even gotten to where you're supposed to be. So I would end it there, and I'll just give you 2 minutes. Maybe it is something that makes sense to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It sure do make sense to me. Is it patent? Yes. Have I been able to myself and my team, have we been able to reach out to a handful of organization? Yes. Yes, we've been able to write to a handful of them. They've promised, okay, yes, we want you to come and teach, because it got to a point we were very, very ready to push out the information, because it's not like it's not like an information that is going to remain with us. It's something that is doable. Other states, other countries are doing it, but has it been done in Nigeria? Nobody has been able to crack that nut because of the environmental condition of because of the climatic condition of Nigeria. Have they been able to do it in large scale here? No, many people have not been able to crack that nut. And myself and my team, that is the cutting edge we have been able to do. And that is what makes what we are going to be bringing on board unique. So for us, we've been able to do our parts, and like you've said now, maybe we'll have to go back to our drawing board and see what we can do differently. One of the things we thought we were going to do differently, because of the truth, we'll be doing it on a small scale. All we needed was just fund to expand. As I speak, we have a company in Lagos that has given us a local process order for 100 million for a handful of tons we are going to be supplying to them. But can we meet that demand? No, we don't have the fund to inject into our business to meet the demand. A handful of people have been writing to us, oh, you've done this one, oh, it's good. Okay, supply us this amount. We don't have the fund to supply this amount you're asking for.
Sorry.
So that was the reason.
Sorry.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. I get this. And
Effiong, I don't think your homework. If you have done your homework, everything that you have said will work out. So let us maybe you can meet the PD people, and they would help you sort it out. But from what you're telling me, I don't think you have all the information at your fingertips. So let's just move on with this thing, and maybe we can.
Right.
Okay.
I would say let's move on and we take that offline, because I mean, you make Mr. Effiong, I'm not discounting what you're saying, so please don't, but it's just for the sake of what we are doing right now, for staying on target and being able to execute within a certain with restrictions with as far as time. Yes. We have to keep going.
Yes. So I didn't want to just shut him up, but he has said a lot of things. But this is really what we're talking about. Unfortunately, we don't have that culture of doing this thing. And this just shows that we are far from being able to break the cycle. The cycle is obviously there, but like Ernest also mentioned, there's a mindset that we need to change. And I think that is one of the major pillars that needs to be broken down. So let's move on to long-term thinking, right? So the main idea about long-term thinking is building wealth not as a quick process. It requires patience, consistency, and discipline. Small, consistent investments made over time can grow significantly into compounding efforts. This means we must resist the pressure for immediate results and focus instead on sustainable growth. By way of an example, we look at wealth is not built overnight, is not built by an order. It is not built by pressure. It cannot be done within the time that somebody gives you. It is impossible to do. That is not about building wealth. Wealth is built over time through disciplined decisions. There is no quick way to it. I mean, have you ever heard of a farmer sowing today and reaping in 2 weeks? It does not happen. Life and systems have a natural process, and that process must be honored and recognized. Consistency and time in the market often outperforms short-term speculation. So let's go to the next slide, please. So we have said all this. We don't need to repeat ourselves. Wealth building, small investments, avoid short-term thinking. Next slide. Now, this is one of the more important things, passing wealth on through trust, family, and family lessons. The major part of our African heritage is that a lot of our parents don't they don't practice what we're talking about, trust, and even they don't have wills. I want to challenge any one of you here, to bring out your will, current will that you have drawn up yourself and have discussed with your significant other, and have even maybe told your children that you have a will. This might be something that we might need to sort out structurally in our culture. But when we're talking about wealth building, even in the olden days, there were particular ways of transferring wealth. So I'm not going to go down deep into this, but it's important for us to know that generational wealth is not just about building it alone. It is also by transferring it. That is what makes it important. And this must be done intentionally. This involves teaching the next generation how to manage money, how to think about assets, and how to make sound financial decisions. It may also involve structures like what I've said, we're talking about wills and estate planning. But because history shows us something important, wealth is not just understood by what is lost. I lost 5,000, I lost this. No. We must pass on not just the wealth, but wisdom, the wisdom of our failures. How many times have we told our children the things that we failed in? It is a very popular adage. All our fathers would say, oh, in my class, when I was in school, I always came first. Okay, show me the report card. That is not important. You should also tell them about your failures, because if you don't know what it takes or what it feels like to fail, you probably will not enjoy the victory when it comes. So failures are also things that people need to learn from. Failing fast is very, 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 very important. Like I said in my own bio, I was sponsored by the Rockefeller Foundation, and this whole wealth of that family started with one man, John D. Rockefeller. He preserved his wealth across generations using trusts, governance structures, and strong financial education. Without the structure and education, wealth is often lost within, 2 or 3 generations. It is a cardinal rule. And I will tell you, If you are the one to begin this as a head of the family, you will save the generations that come from your lineage so much hassle, because you would have put them in a place to succeed. You would have created environments for them to succeed. I'll give you another example. Somebody that we also know, Oprah Winfrey, who also built her wealth from media ownership, including things like Apple Productions, that continues to expand her fame and her influence throughout her life. And she also has a lot of strategic investments, and she also does philanthropy. So across these examples, the pattern is consistent. Sustainable wealth combines ownership, knowledge, discipline, and strategic investment. And it takes one person to start the cycle and to also break the cycle of poverty. Next slide, please. So these are examples of ownership that were said. We have businesses, we have real estate, we have stocks, we have land as well that we can buy. Next slide. Here I've summarized why it is important that we do the wealth transfer. What is also important and which is not written down is the wisdom. And it is also, the teaching of financial responsibility. We should try as much as possible to teach our children, even from a young age, give them some money and see how they respond to it. Tell them, oh, go and buy something in the supermarket. Supervise it and see how well they do. Give them the concept of opportunity cost. Ask them about what they feel about estate planning, about inheritance, and based on that, create your own inheritance structures, even if it is a deviation from the norm or of our cultural tendencies. We need to be intentional in passing on knowledge and values that along our assets that will create wealth. And this is the vehicle that promotes intergenerational wealth transfer. Next slide, please. So we have the key takeaways here: ownership, education, discipline, legacy. We can see here that it is not money that creates intergenerational wealth, right? It is making sure that you have lasting value by all these aspects that we have said. Ownership, education, discipline, and legacy, which would now transfer to our wealth building assets and which will guarantee the bulk of your intergenerational wealth or the summation of your wealth. So to conclude, wealth building is intentional. Asset ownership is the foundation for financial security. Financial education is essential. Discipline and long-term thinking is critical. And finally, we must prepare the next generation to sustain what we build. Because even if we apply these principles, we move on from simply earning to living, and then it is lost. But if we are intentional in it, we'll be able to create a legacy. I'll be happy to open up now to further questions and hear your thoughts on how these principles apply to your own life and to the context that you are in. Thank you so much for your attendance and your attention. And I'm happy to entertain your questions. Thank you.
Mr. Okulaja, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge with each and every one of us. We thank you for your time. because we know time is money. So you have just given us a currency right now. And for that, we thank you and we hope God blesses you. So at this point, like he has thrown it open, do we have any questions? Do we have anyone that maybe there's an area you want him to shed more light into? Something that's focused on investment and wealth. Anyone at this time?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
George, can I go on?
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you, what's your name? Identify yourself.
Okay, my name is Ebunlu Olufemi.
Pastor, we thank you.
Chairman, Board of Trustees, C88. I first want to deeply appreciate Deolu for this insightful and thought-provoking session. Thank you so much. Deeply grateful that we're dealing with this topic at this time, especially when we're just around the end of the first quarter of the year. What I would love to ask, because now we've had enough teachings, let's go a bit practical. I would appeal that we start talking to us about the various vehicles available for wealth creation globally, starting with Nigeria, where most of C88 and members of alumni live, like people understanding the capital market, the money market, the property market, so that they can begin to apply these things that you've told us. Because the good news is we now know what to do, but where to do it has to be added. And that's where the work really is. The online platforms like ARM, Bamboo, IBTC investment, and all that, if we could just add it to these slides, it may not be today, but to help people start looking at those areas where their money can start going to be able to begin to adopt what you've taught us today. Thank you.
To piggyback on that, Madam President, I think your cousin Rashid is into investment. Maybe somehow, sometime we can set him up to provide some of the avenues, like the pastor has said, so that would kind of tied into what we have heard today. I don't know how feasible that is to set it up, but I know Rashid is into investment, right?
Yes, I think that's just one of the many tools that we have in our class of 88 that can help. I know our BOT chairman, thank you for asking that question and for being here, sir. I think he's also asking about globally as well. And I think it was one of the strong questions that our speaker, Architect Okulaja, asked us. It was how we start thinking about scalable wealth, I think was what you said. What do we have to use? What do we have that we can use to create tangible wealth assets? I know Nigeria on its own is different. Then, the diasporas that are here is also different. I mean, both countries, the synergies between both, there's a lot that can be made. So to answer his question, I think we can certainly, I'm sure with Adeoluka, we can certainly look at what's available out here. George, you have some experience too. What's out here that we can share back to classmates who are interested in actually, doing stuff over here, and then we can get Rashid's idea as well into investing. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Okulaja, you want to add to that?
Yes, if I may. I'll tell you one thing that I would say that is that has opened up to me. I think the critical thing that most people they discount is that they themselves are vehicles of multi-billion-dollar companies. Let me put it that way. Each and every one of us, we have one particular idea that we discount that, oh, I don't think it will work. I don't think this will work. But the important thing is that if you have just one idea or out of a million, you need to take that idea and develop it. We oftentimes just carelessly throw away ideas and say, "Oh, I don't think this will work. I don't think." Even the thing about it is that if you have an idea, write it down. Understand the idea. If I take this idea, will it scale? Scale meaning if I do one, can I do plenty of it? And people will buy. Will people get value from it? And if you say, I don't have any idea, can you improve on another person's idea? This also, it goes down into, intellectual property rights and all the likes. But do you know that you can actually improve on another person's idea and actually get paid for it as well, right? That is another source of income. Anywhere in the world that an idea exists, if you improve on it, you have added value and you can profit from it. So that's like a lazy man inventor, But what it means is that you must shift your mind from saying, oh, I don't think this is something I can do, to, okay, critically thinking about it. Like I said at the beginning, you must begin with the end in mind. What do you want to do? Do you want, if your business, this idea, you can create it and you end up having the value of the business worth 1 million. Is that okay for you? Fine. That's a mindset. Don't be afraid of discussing your ideas with people. People will steal your ideas if you are careless in discussing. But before you discuss an idea, talk it over with your spouse, with your friends that you trust, because those are your first customers. Those are the ones that tell you this will work, this will not work. And a very reasonable example is what we sort of have now seen that is important. Take Nollywood now. When the first person started with that, the first video, I think back in the day, was it, they had these serialized things that they put on TV. I don't know whether somebody can, I don't know, forgotten the name now. There were these TV stars that we used to look on NTA. But now you see people making millions and getting money from the likes of Netflix, It took somebody to say, this is the right time to go out independently and start my own movie company, right? So you must be intentional. You must study the field. Look at your idea and see where you can add value. And that is where you can make your money. Now, when you have made the money, you can now start on this journey of being able to keep that wealth, turn them into assets that will now create your intergenerational wealth and will position generations of your family in a better position than you were before. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much, Adiolu. Thank you. Any other question?
I think Kayode has a question. His hand is up.
Yeah, mine is not really a question. Is just to leverage on a few things. So, and I'm directing this to the younger sets for a reason, actually. So we've been having these PD sessions in our set now for going 4 years. The key rationale was, and I love the way that architect Adiolu as architect Okulaja more correctly has mentioned it a few times. Mindset. Mindset is important. A lot of times you don't realize that your mindset itself is a cage. There's certain and the beauty that we're sharing our set has really moved, and I'll say that without even a shadow of a doubt. because we addressed it intentionally. These area of mindset. I'll say a few things. You must learn to leverage your network. In Nigeria, there's a trust deficit there. It's just there. It's just how the system is. We've not built systems that mitigate trust. So credit systems and all that. So, how then do you avoid getting trapped? Some of your best networks are those you've known for it. I mean, there's also, it's a two-way thing. Asking people to trust you is one, but you yourself being able to be trusted, that's two. But try to leverage those that have known you for years and years and years and years. So long as they're, if I say you're in the right tribe, then you're good. I find myself a lot of times when both sides too, you have an idea, you need to invest in something or sponsor something, it's those that you've built credibility with over the years that will invest in you very naturally. Number two, you need to find your tribe. A lot of people, I find that they're misplaced in their tribes. You have a nice idea. You have if you want to go on a pilgrimage, find those that want to go on a pilgrimage. I study a lot, and I'll tell you why. I've discovered that studying in structured environments in right places gives you the networks. So you don't go to a place like, say, if I come to the States as an example, I go to a big school in the States. I go to Harvard. If I go to UK, and I'm not saying that you have to do what I do. It's one of the best places, the best places. 2007, I was in Harvard for a course. I met the then governor of Sokoto State. I met the man that became later the governor of Imo State. It was the Infidelity Bank there. Don't take it for granted. Even this environment is simply because we went to school together. That's why we're here. So leverage your networks. That's why you can mitigate your trust. But find your tribe. Find people that are doing or trying to do what you're doing too. If you want to go on a pilgrimage, find those that are going there. Because what happens there is that you start to share risk, share ideas, and because you're going the same place, you tend to be self-reinforcing. If you have, I'm using the idea of pilgrimage as an example. If I'm going to Saudi and I'm going to go through the desert as an example, it's only someone that is going on that journey with me that understands the pain and the issues that we're facing. So don't go and sit down in a beer parlor and then someone is just doesn't have anything to do in life, and you're sharing ideas with them. You won't fly. That's just the sasa. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that that's life. Yeah. So three things. Find where you can leverage. Find those that you can trust and can trust you. It's key. Number two, leverage your network. Your alumni is a network too. There's some ideas we have now for the alumni. It's simply because I'm going back to those that I know. They've known me for years in God knows, and I don't need to tell myself too much. Hello, sir, I want to do ABC. Okay, I can't do okay, fine. 10 minutes, it's done. And then join a tribe. So that's my advice to the younger ones that at least we have seen a bit more in Yoruba. We say, and I know this. They say that the old men have more rags than new clothes because we've seen a bit more than those that are coming behind, and that's what we're trying to share. So, architect, thank you. Ogahi, thank you so much for your mediation or moderation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President. I appreciate the nuggets that you gave us. Mindset. So mindset is really about, even deciding that going forward from today, you put the tools you have learned here into practice. So I know we kind of went slightly over time, but there's one thing I want to leave, sometimes when you go through things like this, you have so much thrown at you and you kind of wonder, what's the main thing? What's the main idea? I'll go back to Architect Okulaja and ask him, if there's one takeaway you want people to get today, when they think about this, when they go back and have in their quiet time and think about everything that has happened, is there one thing that you want to resonate with them as far as, maybe being able to motivate them to do something, or just one thing that you think that will kind of make them start thinking, having different thoughts about wealth and being able to build generational wealth?
Well, thank you so much. I actually have three. Let me put it that way, because everybody's situation is different. The one thing which I would say, if I were going to answer that, is start with the end in mind. I think that has been my now guiding principle. Because before you start anything, just have a picture of that thing that you have that you want to achieve in your mind. Have it and set it out, and identify with it, ruminate on it, think about it. The other two that I would say are additions to that is that be brave. The future only favors the brave. It is the people that are brave that write the history. So don't think anything is impossible. Don't believe that it is out of your depth. If you are not sure of it, we live in a society now that information is at your fingertips. So be brave and ask the right questions. The last thing is that you should always, how do I say, just like Kaide has said, find your tribe, but also find people who validate you. If you talk to anybody about your idea and that person dismisses you, just don't say anything. Just move on to the next person. Move on to the next person. Find somebody that agrees with your logic, and that person will help you fine-tune it, because you don't need people to pull you down. You need people to lift you up. Discuss widely without not necessarily divulging your central idea, because that is the only key to success. And if you have to, find somebody that you can partner with. If you can't partner with your wife, find somebody else, or your husband, find somebody else that you can do. Because it is not easy to go it alone these days. You actually have to have the cooperation of your spouses or somebody else. And, tap your network for as much as you can. That is the only way that you can succeed, because we can succeed faster if we, connect, have our network, and our network is strong, our network is vibrant, So that will be my own parting words. Thank you.
There's a question here that I think we can get to real quick. It's from Wale John, 94 set. He said, please, how can we correct the mindset that we normally paint that salary earners can't build wealth? I see a deviation that with information and intentionality, salary earners can change the narrative. And that's why this is being set up for us all today. Is this a question, or are you just making a comment? Mr. Wale John, 94. Was this a question?
Yeah, it's a question. It's a question. I'll just put my comment below the question.
Okay, so let's go back. So the question is, how can we correct the mindset that we normally paint that salary earners can build wealth? So that's a question.
If I may answer that question, just look, just see. I do something in my spare time. YouTube, the internet is a fantastic thing. If I didn't even have food, and I wanted to build wealth, I will make sure that I have internet and I can tap it. Go online. Whatever idea you have, it has been done somewhere else before. Whether in one way or the other, low scale, high scale, it has been done before. You will ask yourself also, if you go to a market, and you can try this in any market, you will see one person selling pure water, sitting directly with another person, selling the same product, and one person will consistently outsell the other. What is that difference? It's the mindset. Just like you said, it's the mindset. This person, they're selling the same thing, but somebody is selling it differently. You must first of all look at how this person did it, what this person is doing to, outsell the other. there's a lot of competition out there, right? But you must be able to differentiate yourself. And that mindset thing, that's the beginning. You must be able to differentiate yourself because people are moving in this way. Doesn't mean I should move in that way. Ask yourself the question, where are they going to? What tools are you using to equip yourself to know that you are going to arrive at your final destination? Ask the right questions. That's what I would say would change your mindset. You need to start asking the right questions. Don't ask the dumb questions, and you can validate this on the internet. Give a chatbot or an app a query. If you don't ask the right question, the right answer will not come up. And these answers are categorized. The one that comes first is the most correct one. And then they start to, bring it down. So you need to be able to ask the right question. If you don't ask the right question, I'm sorry. You cannot change your mindset.
Thank you so much. Mr. Akita Adeolu, I'm sorry, if you have time, we'll take just one more question. I promise this is the last one. I see Mr. Olatunde Moore with his hands up. So for the sake of time, and I apologize, this is the last question, but after we round up, if you want to stand around and just kind of ask questions, that's fine. But the formal section of this, we're going to round up after this question. So Mr. Moore, go ahead with your question.
Okay. Good evening once again, and thank you for this eye-opening chat. I just have two quick ones. The first one is to ask, what is your position about philanthropic activity? These are these being creating wealth, for example. What's your position on philanthropic activity? For example, like I have a program going on now that we are putting together to help some children in my community. We are putting up a competition for them at no cost. Instead, we are going to give back to them. So what's your position on philanthropic activity? That's one. Number two, I want to just say a big thank you to the organizers for the gift. I received the gift. Thank you for it. God bless you. All right.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea, a good question and an idea. But I think I've said it over and over again. If you are doing philanthropy, what do you want to achieve? What is the gain? Are you beginning with philanthropy? If you're going to do philanthropy, does it align with your goal, with the end game? Because you must have a plan. You can't do philanthropy if you don't have money. And if your business promotes the work of the philanthropy, fine. But what I know about philanthropy is that philanthropy is done when you want to achieve a particular objective. If you cannot be the sponsor of that objective, you need to find a sponsor. And that sponsor must also be aligned with what you want to achieve as a person or as an organization, So that is very important. But I'll tell you, a lot of people, they take advantage of philanthropy as a concept and twist it and use it to their own advantage. So I'll be very careful when you talk about philanthropy because or using it as a tool, because I see it as it's the same way, it's the same hand that gives something to somebody that takes it away from them. And you don't want to be in that space where people will come back to you in a few years' time and say, this person, he gave me an opportunity, but I found out that they were exploiting me. So philanthropy is it's a two-edged sword. But if done right, if it aligns with your philosophy, with your sponsor's philosophy, and also with the need of the recipient, The recipient must need it, you know, before it becomes tangible. If they don't need it, there's no point of you doing it. Otherwise, it's just going to be self-serving. So there must be a need. That's just my own view. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up and participating. So, because sometimes when you give a talk like this and you just talk and talk and talk and talk and you don't get feedback, it seems like you like to hear your own voice. No, I'm sure Adeolu didn't set this up to hear his voice. So for that, I thank you. And also, I want to thank you, Mr. Adeolu. Thank you so much. What you have done today is you have enriched our life. You haven't given us physical cash, but you have given us the tools we need to make physical cash. So for that, I thank you so much. I want to thank the ESCO for putting this together. You know, Presido, Mogaji, and Hawa. This is something that we needed, and you know, it's like we've been thirsty and you're just giving us water. So with that being said, I want to roll this over to Louis or Hawa to take it away from here. Thank you so much, everyone, and it's been great listening to you and listening to your questions. So until the next session we have, I will be signing off here and letting Brother Louis and Hawa take over from here.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. I don't know if Oga Lewis is here, but on behalf of, really, this is to our speaker, and I'm going to turn on my video just to really tell you thank you so much. I know that we've been planning this for a while, and just the timing we canceled and everything, but this has been an excellent presentation. I'm very happy that a lot of our classmates are here. You know, we do these PDs just like that, and we're always gaining knowledge. Also, we know that there are people from other sets that are here. I want to thank you so much for joining. And I know that the president, national president, had offered some incentives for you to join. I also just want to add that, you know, these are kind of things that different sets are doing that other set members like yourself can take advantage of. So take this back to your set and encourage professional development, because we do learn a lot from these things. So thank you so much, Architect Adelu. Ukulaja, class of 88, so much for bringing your knowledge. And please, in case some of these outside of C88 people have questions, I want to ask that if there's opportunities to start to mentor some of these folks, that would be very important to even us in the national, you know, Central Executive Council, because, you know, knowledge from here that goes outside of here to these young ones, anything to help them kind of stabilize or kind of pick up from where they are would be very helpful. On that note, thanks again. Thank you to our facilitators, Mr. Ehi George Olia himself, and also to captain of the PD sessions. I'm not sure if he's here, our legal officer. I don't think he's here. Anyway, Louis, for organizing all of this. We do have more PD sessions coming up to those of you that are not part of C88, and we will definitely be sharing them. I think that's it for now. Thank you to our class of 88 members that are here. I saw your name, I've noted your name down, put it back into the class. And if you have topics or ideas, you want to speak about something else, C88, please reach out to the PD team. Adeolu might be calling you up for another session, because I got a message from someone who says that we should make it a 4-part series. So you're not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay. And my last note before we pass it on to someone to close us up in prayer, because in our class of 88, everything we do, faith plays, you know, plays the front and center stage in what we do. So even as we open up in prayer, we're going to close in prayer as well. So I would ask someone to close us up in prayer. But I wanted to address Olatunde Moore. Please connect with me. You asked a question about philanthropy, I think, and I want to hear what you're doing. Because sometimes you have to create the wealth. You have to create the funds to support your own calling, because for philanthropy, it's a calling. God has called you to do it. It's not about you making wealth. It's about you supporting others, and there are ways to fund your projects. You yourself can create things that can fund your project. So I would like to connect with you on that. On that note, if I can call on any of my classmates or perhaps somebody from outside of here who would volunteer quickly to close us up in prayer. I want to also thank our national president, past captain, as we call him, but now President Mogaji, for offering to give those data plans. I know I can see that a lot of people have received theirs. Their incentive for coming and staying and asking the right questions. So thank you. Effiong, are you closing us off in prayers?
Yes, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
Father, we thank you for another opportunity to be among the living. We thank you for all what we've heard today. We thank you for the inspiration. We thank you for blessing us and making us a blessing to our generation. We thank you for the speaker, the anchor people, the organizers. We thank you for the growth we've started experiencing. We thank you for COMLAG worldwide. We thank you because your God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than what we think or even imagine. We pray and ask that going forward, may your blessing continue to shower on us now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I think it's officially closed, but our speaker will be here. If you have any personal questions you might want to ask, we're just going to engage him a little bit more on the sessions. But thank you again, Architect Adeolu Kulaja. This class of 88 has a massive, I'm going to call it a massive honorarium for you. A massive, which at some point our PD, captain of PD, Lewis, will be presenting to you just to thank you for coming. He'll present that to you at some point. Ronke, thank you. We see you here. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Ronke, it's good to see you. Class of 88, Aliyu, class of 88, thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Kola Sakoli is here, class of 88, thank you. Sakazim, who opened us up in prayer, thank you. I can see members of the National ESCO here. Fatima, thanks for coming. Moji, I'm not sure if that's PMI or if that's one of the members of the National Executive Council. Thanks again for coming. Ike, the wine vendor, thank you. Class of 09, thank you. Tomi K. Ankara Kuto, thanks for coming. And Fumi, thank you. Demola, another member of the National ESCO, thank you. Class of 88, Kenneth, you're here, thank you. CSR chair or committee member, thanks for coming. Tomi K. Yes, members of the C88 Executive Council, Financial Secretary. Anyway, thank you, everyone. That's I can tell me there, I can see you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody has any questions for our speaker? Jensek Kojo, Elegant Affairs. Ali, do you have a question for him?
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not a question. It's an observation.
Okay, go ahead.
I would sincerely thank the brother, my friend. We started Command Secondary School.
Yes.
Command Children's School, Ikeja, to Command Secondary School, Ipaja. He was a very good footballer. That's what I remember from him. And he still speaks the way he was when he was very small. My observation is, I would like a video of it because I just came in just some few hours ago. I traveled and I had to log in. I don't know if they recorded it, if they could also send the video recordings to our various platforms in the set so that we can rewatch it and learn more. Maybe next time you come for the other sessions, we'll be able to ask questions or contribute.
Yeah, Ali, I think I recorded it though. It's on my computer, so I'll send it to her
okay.
immediately I'm done.
Okay. God bless you.
Thank you for
You are
remembering.
doing well. Thumbs up to you and to every other person
Yeah,
watching and listening.
thank you.
There are lots of comments for you, speaker. Good job from C88 Ernest himself, from our president, Mogaji Ogunshola. All the thanks are there for you. We really appreciate you and your. It was well done.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I don't think we even cracked the main thing. This is just
Yeah.
it's just information that we have, but maybe it's condensed in such a way to wake you up.
Yes, for sure.
So I'm glad
Sure.
to be able to be the enabler and to deliver
Yeah.
well. So I'll send you
Yeah.
record you. I'll send you
Okay.
recording as soon as we're done now. I hope
Okay.
I believe it's recording.
I think so. We usually try to record these things. I think so. I'll have to check with Taiwan. Yeah, I think so. The only other thing is, I know they've asked for your slides. So I
Yeah.
know that our
Yeah.
BOT chairman was asking if you can add some
I sent them to
Taiwan. Okay.
so I sent to him as a PDF. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
can share it.
and also share it with you.
Yeah.
With you on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that's quite interesting is, which I think, and you asked us to think about it. You said something about how do we think about scalable wealth? What do we have within us in our hands that we can use to create tangible wealth? And I think about this cross between those in the diaspora and Nigeria and vice versa, because I know that a lot of things I've done on Instagram, just Instagram vendors, like even going for a family wedding. What am I doing? Sorry. Even going for a family wedding, like I bought my things, like I've done everything on Instagram. When I go home, I'm traveling back, I've shopped. Like there's so much branding, like you said, power of social media. Just one of our classmates shared with me some guys who were just cooking beans. Guy just made beans that was delicious and became a millionaire from selling his beans. So you're right. It's just that, what is that one thing? What am I good at? What can I perfect on that I can sell, that can, just be consistent? I can brand it, I can market it, I can do this. So that, what is the country where they sell their air? I think it's I forget the country now. You probably have heard about it. It's air in a can.
Yes.
Air in a can. People are selling it. They've got fans only, something on on the internet called fans only. I heard the guy died recently, where they sell all sorts of things. People, that's not a recommended place, but people are making money out of nonsense.
Yeah, but let me tell you one shocking thing that the West, they do a lot of things that
yeah,
shocking that when we heard, but we ourselves are the ones that enable it. Like when they say codifying is a very fancy word for writing it down.
yeah.
We have our grandparents in the village and everything, and they tell us a lot of tales. Oh, this is what happened. When this happens, do this. Do we write those things down? Those are the things that these Westerners come and we give it to them freely. So imagine if we didn't tell them how to make jollof rice. You understand? Imagine if we
Yeah.
didn't how we plant our cassava. I
Yeah.
imagine, you know, just those normal things that we have in indigenous IP for
Yeah.
will be very rich, you know. And till today, we are still giving those things out, you know. So we need to be able to what do you call it? Zip your mouth. Just zip it. Don't
I think
speak
zip
to the
is
right
one
people.
part. I think zip is one part. You know, there's a phrase in the Bible that says that there was a city that was besieged by a great king, you know, and a poor man with his wisdom saved the city, yet no one knows his name. The question I always ask, why did they not know his name? Because IP, once you expose it, it's lost.
Yeah.
So although that poor man saved the city, what the Bible is saying is that the poverty itself can make you lose the talent. Talent, yes, talent, yes, but poverty, the mindset. So what he did was he did not he shared the answer they needed very easily. And it took you, and I've seen this a lot of times. I've experienced it too in government. You have some great idea, you package, you send it. At times they just tear the cover, just tear, and just put another thing there. You see the thing that you presented that. So again, that's where the issue of the trust deficit in our society, you know. And when they say that we don't trust, and I say this about, I'm Nigerian, I live in Nigeria, I've worked there, you know. So people have this idea that all you guys are in diaspora, but you know, we have experienced it too. The sad thing in our community is that we don't respect IP. You know, this idea of bad Turenchi, too much, you know.
No,
It's so you have to be careful. Sorry.
The government is doing something about that, but you know, it's coming a bit late in the day. But imagine the people that have come before us. Okay, talk about the film industry. We talk about Netflix. Imagine the Baba Salaz, the Kokra Don, the this, the that. We still have the capacity to redo those movies in a normal way, and it will still be available to the current generation, and we will make money. But are we intentional about it? Also, enough to do it. I tell somebody, see, the future favors the brave. It is only impossible until one person does it, and they say, "Oh wow, how did you?" Then how did you do it? They ask you a question. You don't need to tell them, you know. So we also need to do something. If we know something, you don't need to answer. Because once you answer, they know that you know. And people that don't want you to go will come after you. So you have to be very intelligent. You have to be knowledgeable about what you're talking about. Don't speak, don't speak anyhow. Don't expose your knowledge. Move near people that are like-minded. You see, it was like, I'll take this from the Bible. See, when Christ and John the Baptist, when their mothers met, what was recorded? They said the two babies, they leapt, you know, they recognized each other. So if you're going to have a discussion with somebody or whoever, there must be something that you will have seen that will draw you to them. If nothing draws you to them, don't go near them because they don't have anything to offer you, you know. And that is what we talk about in terms of protecting our IP. If you really look at it globally, the black race, the people who are melanated, are the people that have the wealth of creative talent. You know, the people that are white, and I'm not discriminating, they have a talent of survival. They know what to do. But we can also try and raise ourselves up by now knowing how to develop that creative side of us, you know, and sort of level up, you know, in terms of wealth and securing the future of our own people, you know, so to say. So it's not just about generational wealth is not just about us, it's about our country, you know. How do we do things? And like in this talk, it has always come to a mind shift, but it's not just a mind shift. Once you know, what are you doing about it? You know, what are you doing about it? How are you advancing yourself and bringing people like minds to the table, or even creating your own table? You know, so those are the questions we need to start asking ourselves.
Good
Quite
point, yeah.
interesting. Yeah, quite interesting. We tried, 4:51. BC Babs, the London people. Any comments? London people.
Yeah, I really enjoyed sharing with you guys, and it's always good to share.
Jolu, we have someone gave a petition to the ESCO about you, but Madam P will address you in camera. If I say it here, you won't like it. So please address the. Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond, though, please. Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond, please. It's just I have to tease you. Don't respond.
You too if you say anything.
Maybe I was just asking.
Adeolu and we have chatted. We're on the same page now. I promise.
Okay. That's. I'm just teasing. I'm just telling you. You can see I'm unlimited. I'm just teasing you. Just don't answer me.
When I saw it,
I coded it.
So when I saw the comment, I knew that. Okay,
I think he saw it.
Oh, he saw it.
Yeah, he saw it. They all saw it.
I said this.
I was talking to him. He already knew. I was like, where is the way? What is it? And he texted me. We had talked about it before, even before the elections. But anyway.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. I'm glad you said you shouldn't see anything.
Yeah, don't say anything now. Just teasing him here because it is family time. This is not.
Oh my gosh, we are among siblings.
I will even give you the thing to do. And madam, give him the key so that he won't hear that sort of thing again forever.
Yes,
just give him the key.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah, but
you know.
So it wasn't any.
Don't worry. Just don't worry. Just do what. Once Madam P has spoken to you, she will give you the key. There's a key to it.
No wahala.
There's a master key.
It's so true.
But like I said to Hawa, all that also intentional. We are not. There are ways of even multiplying that thing. You know.
Yes.
We will just look at it and say, "Ha! Why didn't we know about this? Why didn't you tell me?" Because it's not. You see, there are some tables that you don't even have a seat. You know.
Yes.
Had a seat at some tables.
Yes.
So it's just what it is. You know. If I tell you that in the economic cycles, you know, all our GDP in Nigeria or even in Africa is enough to solve all our problems. But our central banks, you know what, they would take our money and go and invest it in the West again, because they say investing in our own country is very risky. Right? I don't understand it. We have all the wealth. There's nothing we don't have. But the powers that be don't know what they should do. You know, so we're literally, you know, shooting ourselves in the foot. So knowledge is power. If you don't tell me, no. So if you don't share that information, I would not know. So the onus is actually on you. You are the ones that didn't give the right information. Because you didn't give the right information, you didn't get. There's nothing I can do. You know,
it's okay.
No,
it's been addressed.
No, it's been addressed. What I'm saying is that it's when you start looking at things, you start to see the pattern, you know, and these patterns are actually ingrained in a lot of things. What we're talking about intergenerational wealth now is if you look at it from a perspective, you will start to notice all the symptoms that we are going through in Nigeria as a nation.
See, before you even go into intergenerational, I told my ESCO that the alumni is poor. I speak very bluntly. Because there's this idea that the alumni, I said the alumni is, if you don't first and foremost understand that the alumni is poor, you don't challenge yourself to do what will make you rich or wealthy. I think that the alumni is poor. And I say it with all sense of modesty. I spoke to someone yesterday, and you know, there's this story of, so if, you know, people call you. Okay, so we've shared the express report. Someone said something. I come, if one set can donate in election here, or in 88 set, if can donate 4 times, not even 4 times, election is when we get our most income, the most. If C88 can carry as a group, you know, as a group on all our behalves, we can carry essentially in less than 3 weeks, carry 11 mil. When the whole command only got like 3 mil or so. There's something about the mindset there that is different. So, and at times we have to tell ourselves that it's a sad truth. We exhibit all the signs of poverty. Even there was a comment that someone brought my attention to. Someone was saying that we spent X on Y and X on Y. And I think that is that, but are you stupid? These people paid for their thing now. And my answer was, I don't think the person has done that kind of thing before. Because if you've not, no, to be honest, if you've not I've been hosting parties since I was in UI.
Yeah.
I've been doing that kind of party since when I was in year 2 in UI, in University of Ibadan. So hosting 200-300 people is not a biggie. But someone that's never done it before doesn't even understand the numbers. He thinks that you're just going to be up to like a booker to eat. So and the key point is that it informs. It's not like I have the money too, but it informs my confidence. If you're going to raise an endowment fund, I say next year I'm going to give 10M to the alumni as an example. But last year I was able to do this in 3 weeks time. If I give myself a year. So it's those kind of things that also start to explode your mind. Okay, well, what's possible? You know, what can we do? How do we leverage on ourselves? And I think that's where our set, and I'm not saying it to kind of compare. It's just I'm happy that I feel like when I'm happy that all our accounts are now in the millions. All. But before too, we were in thousands, and we will be arguing about small things. So we thank God to where we are. But again, we're still on the journey for bigger and greater things.
Amen. Amen. That's what we need. We have to do that scalable income that that's my
we have to scale.
That scalable income.
No, but we know what it is now. We know
Yes, we do.
Fact of the matter is
Oh
that
my gosh.
we're bold enough to do it. You know, are we bold enough to do it? And if we do it, we get it straight. But also, you know, in doing something, like I always say, I don't know who gave me that thing. And this was even from when I was more interested in my daughter's education. If you know where you are going, right? And if you know who you are, nobody can, you know, mess around.
Amen.
Even on faith, there are certain things God will show you that other people look at you and say, are you
fierce?
You know, but you must know what you want to do. And also appreciate the fact that there is a lot more to learn. You know, there's nothing wrong. This man that wants to build something, have you tried your hands on, you know, crypto? You know, it's the cutting edge. How many people have done it? You know.
Is that Effiong, the guy that was talking earlier today?
You can try your hands on crypto. You can do the impossible things and, you know, learn from other people. I would even suggest that somebody like that look at the history of Elon Musk. When did he become a millionaire? Within a span of 20 years, that's when that thing happened. 20 years. He's a young guy, you know. So if it can happen for a guy, It's not too late for me. Me too. I can own SpaceX. The fact of the matter,
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
call SpaceX. The thing is that, am I willing, right? So it doesn't need, it's not like it's going to take me 100 years, right? I can develop a PayPal and do the same thing, right? But you need to know what you want to do, create a clear path of how you're going to get there. And like I already said, it's a mindset thing. But because you have even changed your mindset, all those things now become, non-issues. You start to
Non-issues, yeah.
see parts where other people don't see it, to dream. You start to dream about, oh, this thing's going to happen. So, I mean, that's where we are. But, everybody's on a journey.
Yes.
But so long as there's movement, I think we are good. Yeah. So
long as there's positive movement, you can move and not be moving. No, you can move on the same spot, running fast to nowhere. So positive. Yes. Movement without motion. So you have to make sure that you get it right. The movement and the motion. You're moving it and the right direction. The right direction because you can be moving back.
Yeah, but other one, you leave that one to God, because at times, even the more I even learn about some things, the more, you start from somewhere and you find out that you're coming back to the same position at times in terms of your thinking, but you have gone far, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is increased, but the basic logic still remains the same. Like people asking rich people, why do you still want more money? They will look at him and say, this guy doesn't get it.
Doesn't get.
You see a rich person say, oh, why are you still working? They will look at you and they will look at you, the look that they will give you. You will know that the question you ask
something doesn't make sense in their yeah.
By the time you are rich, you will know why nobody is going to tell you why you should continue working. Benefits of being rich are immense. Why would I stop this thing? I
already feel like
there's a lot.
It's not about,
there's a lot.
So you need to know your why. You need to know your why. You need to know why you want to get there, and you need to envision that thing. So
I feel like
start with the end in mind, like you said.
Yeah, just for me speaking, I feel like for the benefit of those who asked that question, because that was the main question. How do we start, the challenges that they face and stuff like that? I feel like from this PDO, this is to you, Adeolu, from this PD session, how do you now create even your own generation? It's like, well, now, I'm talking about monetizing, but how do you now create smaller, almost like a startup or a kickoff? And I speak to you because we know that we're probably going to have another session as wider when we're doing the mentorship for the whole larger ESCO now, because this is really relevant.
Yeah, we need to do it for the ESCO actually. Yeah.
How do we answer those questions? How do you help people start up? How do you say, where are you stuck? Like what kind of small sessions can you have whereby at the end of that session, people are they're more aware of what to do, what their next step is. Like that guy now, kind of session for him. Where are you now? You don't need to tell me what your business is. What's holding you? How can you, you know what I mean? Like, what are the small next steps that we can have from this? Because you've given us the financial education, the whole blueprint, so to speak. How do we now move from there? Because that would be very attractive to a lot of people. And then,
but that's what we did in 88 now. See, the week and that's where the discussion was going to. We can speak to the sorry.
So then you can now add out of there can come up something like a Dragon's Den kind of.
And so that's what I was going to. It's ultimately, see, there's as above, so below. If you don't sow, you don't reap. If you don't have seed, you have to find seeds. If you find seeds, then you must sow. So, but who are those that can invest in you? Who are those that invest in your who are those that can take a risk on you? I'm asking some people now to take a risk of 150 million naira. I mean, that we could easily just waste. But those relationships have come over 30, 40, 50 years. So I'm not, and there are many things that have grown that relationship that in fact, if someone was doing career and said, see, this one is small. Let us, and it's not as if it's small for me. It's small for our tribe, it's small. But there's value that we've exchanged over the years. But people must be willing to invest in you. People must be willing to say, come, I'll sign that check on your behalf. But how then
and
do
I think
you
it
grow
was one of the
yourself?
comments we had. Somebody said one of the comments we had was that, people don't, something about them not trusting you. Like it's hard for people to trust you.
And you find your tribe.
It was
Everyone
one
has a
of the
tribe.
things. Yeah.
The mistake people make is that I think, some people mistake. I have some business friends that we don't talk every day. I mean, there's this project I'm doing now. I don't speak to the guy in like, God knows, like 15 years or like, but I mean, we see from time to time. I called him, he saw my missed call. I was in Frankfurt also. He called me back. He said, sorry, it was even explained that sorry for missing my call. I said, no, see, you can miss my call anytime because you are busy. I need A, B, C, D. But again, it's about making sure that your brand or your whatever it is that you are, it's seen in a light that you can cash your brand. Even your person is a
Who
brand.
you are, exactly.
It's a brand. Can you put your brand on the table and can you cash in on it? But don't cash it small. You cash it big. But make sure that you are protecting your brand anyway.
Well, even pastors preach it. Even pastors preach it, because I know that I've heard Apostle Spellman's messages. A couple of them talks about this thing. Leveraging on your brand, who you are to your favor, so to speak.
Yeah,
people that can
it's
help
a brand.
you in life.
So long as you don't waste it, because you see, and that's the talent back again. You don't waste it because there's something you have to that you don't waste.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah.
I'll say something. I think it's a question you cannot answer. I don't think a question I can answer. You know why? Because everything is based on somebody's particular understanding, right? I will give you two examples, two things that just came to me, Even the parable of the talents, I can put it to you that this is my own opinion, and I'm not going crazy or anything. Or I'm not trying to, that talent, it could only be one person. Christ could have just been talking about one person. All those different people, the person that he did, person that did this, person that did this. In a framework, it could have been one person. And the person would exhibit all those traits. You understand? Is that person that is lukewarm, that person that does something, that person that does something. If you look in a sort of quantum physics thing, it just shows you basically that there are several paths for you to follow. So the parable of the talents only explains it to you that there are several pathways. Some people will go this way, 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 some people will go this way. So observer who has not done anything, so if something is given to you, there are multiple ways of you getting to a result. If somebody that has listened to that parable cannot understand it on that level, you cannot teach it.
But here's the thing that we must never shy away from. You said it, everything, all truth reinforces. All truth reinforces. It comes down to choice. Those that are brave, you said that, it is the brave that whatever you said, it takes, those that are, what they say, fortune favors the brave. Braveness is a decision you make, bro. It's not like it's easy. You need to decide to be brave.
You can also in the same moment not make that choice.
But yeah, it's an opportunity cost though.
Bible it says you should not be lukewarm.
Yes.
Don't be lukewarm.
Be hot or cold. Yes.
Take a position. Taking a position says begin with the end in mind. It's also in the Bible that tells you make up your plans, make it plain. It tells you.
Yeah, write it on tablets. Yeah.
So there are certain things and certain messages that you get that are like stimuli that if the person does not get it, you cannot show the person the way. The person, must come a level of understanding. If it doesn't come,
I won't say level of understanding. The person must be anxious to. There's nothing we brought to life that we didn't learn.
Yes.
You must be anxious. I can easily say, what is Jolie going to tell me? No. I spend my time because I'm also learning not just what you're presenting. That for me is basic. It is the minds. Diolu, okay, fine. What exactly is Diolu's driver as a person? Where is his mindset as a person? Where is his vision? Because that's what I'm taking from this beyond just the presenting this.
I get that. Somebody told me something a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but something that stuck with me, and is a question. The thing is that you must always be able to ask the right kind of questions. If you don't ask the right kind of questions, you are not going to be moving forward, just like you said. But I will ask you also this question, you guys, this question. Did you know that the principles, or let me put it this way, did you know that a plane, like an aeroplane, like an F-1 fighter, could exist in the time of Jesus? That a plane.
You're on for that question. That's my cue. My cue to start everything. I'm going to do other things.
So what? See, that's the.
So my answer is this. It is, and I'll answer it from. I did an induction for those that came after me on my MBA. I was coming out of Cranfield, and I said to them that, see, even rocket science can be distilled down to base principles. There's nothing under the sun that is new. That we don't have the technology, we don't have the know-how. We can always debate that. But rocket science is just 3 or 4 key things. There's injection, there's thrust, there's navigation, and there's the fuel or whatever it is. You don't need to get into quantum physics to understand that life can be distilled to basic principles.
Yeah.
So the question is that, can things fly? Oh, things can fly now. That is F-35 or a bird. We just want to start debating things. Yeah. Each one has aerodynamics anyway. So and that's my key point. Mine is not about, and that's what you said about wealth. People define wealth as riches mainly. A guy has money, a guy has this. No. But you're saying that real wealth there must be generational and transferable. And it's built over lifetimes. And the key thing is that does it cater for your needs in the here and now and in the after? Once you have that, then you're wealthy. But in the Nigerian sense, someone I just cash in bank.
I think they have cash, they don't have money. But to answer your question, or to answer the question I posed to you, the answer is yes. Because the earth has not changed. The principles of flight have not changed.
Not changed, yes.
What has changed is that the veil of how it is done has been.
It's been,
yeah.
So
that would make sense, because if you move from here to there, instead of on the donkey, he could have gone on a 747 or something, or a private jet.
Taking a plane. But you see,
sure.
level of understanding that you have to take that knowledge. So if you are going to embark on, and this is the form of advice, basically what we're saying, if you're going to embark on something like the Dragon's Den and things like that, we need to look at it in context. The infrastructure that supports the Dragon's Den exists. In Africa or in Nigeria, we don't have that infrastructure. So we're going to be doing something that is not fit for purpose.
We've done Dragon's Den in C88, so I'm not talking of Dragon's Den on TV. We've done it in C88, so.
I'm talking about the principle of the
principle, yeah.
Principle as in, sorry, can you clarify?
As in
principle, are you talking in terms of money or are you talking in terms of the structure? Because I didn't get that.
What in terms of is like there are some certain things that will work in Nigeria that cannot work in a Dragon's Den kind of pitch. You understand? So if you're going to pitch a Dragon's Den kind of pitch, it can only work in Dragon's Den, England or UK. If we're going to do our own, it must be fit for the context. So if we're going to have industries or people come together, there has to be an ecosystem. So that ecosystem has to support the idea that is going to be funded. You know, I would say
basically customize it.
Yes. So
basically customize it to our own land.
I'll give you an idea. It's like knowing that a tailor, right?
Yeah.
But when they make clothes, they have scraps. The scraps, an artist can make use of that scrap $1,000,000 artwork. The artist will sell that artwork to somebody who's going to invest, and it goes back to the tailor. You see, you have formed an ecosystem, which is from the values of those people working. We can only raise up based on that unique ecosystem. If you don't understand that ecosystem, there's no there's no Dragon's Den you want to do from here to the rest. It will not work. You understand?
But here's my count on, and I'll end on this. See,
sorry,
life is
Captain. Sorry, Mogajic, and Taiwo needs to leave, so I just wanted to tell him thank you so he can exit. Taiwo, again, we're just having our conversations. We'll probably
and we'll end on this.
Taiwo,
And we'll end on this.
You can leave if you wish.
And we'll end on this. You know, and I'll use the states as an example. During Bill Clinton's time, the states achieved the level of economic performance, and what they said, it was that time of the internet boom and all that. But essentially, my key point is that you can leverage on what others have done and adapt to yourself without necessarily going through the pathway that they've gone through.
Yeah.
You know, so wealth as an example, you know, I tell myself that, you know, you see, if I'm to compare, some people they've leveraged on 2 generations of wealth that have been left behind for them. So if you are coming from just one generation, don't think you are going to, because 2 generations like grandpa and grandma, let's say 50 years each of economic activity, mom and dad 50, that's 200 years of economic activity that's been passed on to generation number 3. If you are coming from generation number 1, you know, where nothing is passed on to you, or just 50 is passed on to you, you must realize that you cannot, in the true sense, be trying to compete. You know, truly, you should not, because it is madness. It is, except you create your own niche.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in creating that niche, you need to protect it.
And
take all the other aspects of that's going to ruin that ecosystem.
Ruin it, of course, of course, I understand you.
If you don't do that,
then you lose it too.
Lose it.
Nice.
Can't lay everything.
Let's all go.
Was good. The extras.
Madam P, bless you. The behind the scenes talk. All right.
Yeah, this was.
There's Benny cameras. All right then.
That's Captain. This P and VP. You just say we not go enter one business where we go the scalable income as a put our.
But you know we've discussed now. And you know we've discussed already.
Of course.
Start on time.
we're ready to come pitch our business idea.
But you know what? You know
Again,
what?
Tomide is here. He's not speaking, but I've been seeing his hands moving.
I don't think it's a bad idea to do that Dragon's Den kind of thing. But please don't.
We've done it. We've done it. Is what I'm saying.
See, the more you do it, you have done it before. You are now going to refine it again. And don't.
Yes, of
maybe
course.
to the outside set because it wasn't
call it
as
Dragon's
successful.
Den.
It was successful, but we didn't get a lot of traction.
Yeah,
for
call
it
it
in our set.
don't call it Dragon's Den. Call it something unique. Like I said, your IP.
You're right.
Before we do it, we are going to register that IP. Because if for anybody looking at it, they see it and say, I'm going to come and take this up. You see, and that's what we're talking about.
But there were some risks. So, like for instance, there's in local risk anyway. Just the point. You cannot, because you are doing something within the same society, you still face the same risks. Intellectual theft. Yeah, there's still all sorts.
Yeah, but he also said something about the pure water seller. That's what I believe strongly in all this. I know IP, protection of IP and stuff like that. My experience with us, we are copiers. At least in Nigeria, I know my teacher training that I took, they were telling me people are going to copy it. I said, no, mine is unique. It's different. I know what is different. I think knowing the difference about your business, because I don't know about how you can do your intellectual property, go and register it, and they won't still steal it in a place like Nigeria where you might not be able to sue. In this part of the world, you might be able to sue and you get funding. Adeolu, you sent me something. I did the whatever, signed it, and it's done. Yeah. Like that might not work at home. But anyway, however it works, if there are two people selling pure water, as you said, the two people are sitting down side by side. They are selling the same thing. One is getting traction, the other is not. So, I believe that if you have a business, I know about keeping your mouth shut, but sometimes you have your thing, and it's successful. Anyway, may God help us.
God will help us. But you have
May God help us. So, thank you guys so much.
Define your idea. And by the time you come up with it, nobody will be able to copy it.
Yeah.
We have to contextualize what you're saying, and I understand where someone was coming from. But you have to contextualize that in a society where there's no IP protection. You have to use other means of protect. Like for instance, you might share the some of the very aspects of it, but never share the core.
Yes,
but Nigeria is a tough place. Nigeria, because once they get it, they will copy it. That's Nigeria for you. Yeah.
It is.
Anyway,
training.
Excellent. 3 hours we've done. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you, everybody. For me, Dominion, Tomide, Coach, Tomike.
I can.
All right, then. Demola, everybody, thanks for joining. Bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, class captain.